So Apple recently came out with something called the Vision Pro. Now you might think that this device is just going to isolate us more, which I'm sure it probably will, but think about how it can be helpful for people that have disabilities. Think about what this means for someone who is confined to a bed, they can't get out of bed, or they're sick and they don't want to get up, or they're depressed, or someone who has like a spinal cord injury. This device can be revolutionary for people like that. So let's start off with the spinal cord injury. You are confined to a bed, you can't get out of bed, you can't move your legs, you can't move your arms. Maybe you have some slight motor control because you had a partial spinal cord injury. So what you can do with the Vision Pro, you get someone to put the headset on for you, and you can start controlling your surroundings with just your eyes. You can look at an app and start browsing a web page on Safari. You can do FaceTime calls. You can talk to people that you probably wouldn't normally be able to, because now you can just use a Siri gesture and you don't have to pick up a device like a phone or an iPad. So this is huge for anyone who is pretty much bedbound. They can't use their legs, they can't walk, they can't really use their hands. This is huge for people like that. If you had a spinal cord injury, you might be able to use some of the gestures with your hands, but you can still use your voice and your eyes and your ears. You could use the device to order food. You could use the device to FaceTime with friends or family. There's so many different ways that you could use this device. And the coolest part about it is, for a spinal cord injury patient, for someone who can't really use their hand, they don't have to hold a phone up to their face. They don't have to touch the screen. You can do all of this with pretty much your eyes and your voice. And that's why it's so cool for people that had a spinal cord injury. Okay, so what about people who are just bedbound? Maybe they're in a hospital or a rehab or a skilled nursing unit, and they can't really get out, because a lot of times I feel like these people are in prison. They're depressed because they're just confined to this space. They can't do their normal daily activities. So the coolest thing about the Vision Pro is it kind of connects them with the outside world. They can still do daily tasks. They can make calendars. They can make events. They can schedule things. They can order food. They can communicate with family or friends. They have like this huge window to the outside world, and they can still do everything that they need to do in a hospital, but they can do it with a headset, which would just make things so much easier. Another thing that's cool with this is a lot of these people, they don't want to be seen by their family or friends because they're in a hospital and they're not looking their best. But with the augmented reality, you can actually create a digital profile of yourself that looks pretty real, and you can actually display this when friends or family call you, and you can still talk to them, and it's almost like they're seeing you and you're seeing them, but it's in an immersive 3D environment. And that's why I think this is really cool for anyone who's just like a hospital patient or confined to a bed. And the last way I think this device could be useful is just for people with depression. So think about it for a second. A person with depression may have like low motivation, low self-esteem. They may not want to really get out and go anywhere. Well, the cool thing about this is having a digital profile of yourself. You can have a little bit more confidence in showing yourself because you don't have to get dressed. You don't have to go do your makeup and get ready for the day. You can just talk to someone face to face with this 3D augmented reality and not really have to completely be there. All you really have to be there, you just need to be able to talk. And this can be really helpful for people that are a little self-conscious about showing themselves or their real selves to other people. I feel like a lot of times people don't want to FaceTime because they don't want people to see them that day, or maybe they're not ready for the day, or maybe they don't want them to see like their house or their location. Like, this device can kind of bridge that gap to help people just be more willing to show themselves and be more willing to get out there and socialize with other people. I know a lot of times we think of these devices as making us more socially isolated, whereas this can actually bridge the gap and help people that are socially isolated to be more comfortable putting themselves in the outside world by using this augmented reality and creating a digital image of themselves so they can start feeling more comfortable displaying it to others. As you can see right now, I'm at the beach, but what about people that have like dementia or even insomnia and can't transport themselves to like a beautiful location like this? The Vision Pro can actually kind of transform them to this other location. it can change their entire environment, and it can actually induce like atmosphere for like meditation or sleep that you can't replicate anywhere else. And I think this can also be super huge for people with dementia. The cool thing about the Vision Pro is like it's not like any other camera, so it can actually transform them to past memories and make it seem more immersive and more real life. It's just really helpful for them to have pictures and be in like a familiar environment. And with the Vision Pro, I think it can actually kind of transform them to this environment that they're familiar with, like if it was like family, to kind of help them feel more comfortable and be in a state that's reminding them of who they are and where they belong. So it can be helpful for people with insomnia, dementia, and I think also people that are just experiencing pain. I think it can act as like a huge distraction to provide like an atmosphere that's going to help them reduce their thoughts kind of being fixated on pain. And I think that, I don't know, I think this is the future. I think it could be really helpful. And I don't really know. These are just kind of my thoughts. Some of these things, I mean, it still does isolate us, right? So it may not be the best thing for everyone with depression, but I do think this is a product that could be really helpful for just people in a hospital bed or people that are just struggling and need another outlet. So share your thoughts. I want to know what you think about this. All right, guys, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.